All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we got ourselves a very interesting article here talking about Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. Now, you guys are aware if you watch my channel or if you watch me play the game over on Griffcast to completion, I thoroughly enjoyed Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, just like I thoroughly enjoyed Warhammer 40k Space Marine. When I saw that they were coming out with a sequel, I already knew the game was going to be badass for the most part. Of course, people were worried, rightfully so, because of the connection with Games Workshop. It's inevitable, considering that Games Workshop has gone down the DEI rabbit hole, that people would be scared for the sequel for Space Marine. However, Saber Interactive thankfully came through and was extremely based with the way they made their video game. It has showcased that we can continue to trust them so long as they give us exactly what we are looking for when it comes to a Space Marine product. Well, apparently, Space Marine 2 has given, unfortunately, Games Workshop so much money that they have now realized that that is what sells. Now, I want to be clear, ladies and gentlemen. I think it was pretty obvious from the beginning that everybody knew that a game like Space Marine is the one that's going to sell, right? Like, Games Workshop, unfortunately, has been ruining the Warhammer lore for a lot of fans, and I am not a fan of the tabletop game. So, again, I'm not going to speak on that, but I am a fan of Warhammer video games. I thoroughly enjoy them, especially the Space Marine franchise. I absolutely love Space Marine. It is so much fun. It is a game that gives you exactly what you're looking for. It doesn't apologize for it. And when you purchase that game, you get exactly what you thought you were buying. That is a fantastic, fantastic product. Now, overall, it is very clear since the beginning that Space Marine 2 was going to be a big hit. Even I, though, didn't realize how big of a hit Space Marine 2 was going to be. It was astronomically bigger than the original Space Marine that was already pretty big for a Warhammer video game. You guys got to understand, Warhammer video games are usually not that big in terms of concurrent player base. They do have pretty decent games out there, but they don't have games that have hundreds of thousands of concurrent players. However, Space Marine 2 completely destroyed that entire record. So let's get into this article, guys. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, again, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 made so much money, so many millions of dollars for Games Workshop, that now they want to continue that mantra. They've realized that that is exactly what sells. They realize that gamers actually want that, and they want to continue on to the next one, whether that's Space Marine 3 or whether that's something similar. They want to do it. Now, Games Workshop, in my opinion, doesn't deserve this money, okay? They just don't, because unfortunately, it really wasn't them that did it. It was Saber Interactive that did it. They are the ones that made Space Marine 2 into what it is. Because if Games Workshop was behind it, I guarantee you there would have been a female main character in that game. No doubt about it. It wouldn't have been the way that it was. Games Workshop would have found a way to wokeify the hell out of it, just like they're doing with their current IP little by little. But with that being said, Saber did such a fantastic job that unfortunately it did make Games Workshop millions of dollars, and now they want more. So let's talk about it. So Warhammer video games have been a pretty hit and miss over the years, which I agree, to put it mildly, but Saber Interactive Space Marine 2 was firmly on the hit side of the fence last year, reaching a player count of 4.5 million after a month of launch and drawing more interest to the world's most grimdark sci-fi setting than ever. Unsurprisingly, Games Workshop quite happy with that result and pretty keen to see it happen again. Now, again, guys, I mean, 4.5 million people, 4.5 million after 1 month is absolutely fantastic. It's insane, and it's especially more insane when you realize that that is really high for a Warhammer game. To say that Space Marine 2 absolutely killed it would be putting it lightly. Space Marine 2 pretty much set the bar for what most Warhammer games are going to have to try to follow through. Now, again, it's a lot more easier of a game to digest, right? It's a third-person shooter, very action-oriented. It was very little downtime in that game when I was playing it. It was on the rails, very linear, and you knew the kind of experience that you were going to get. Unfortunately for me, I thought the campaign was way too short. I wish it was at least 4 to 6 hours longer, but unfortunately, it was a very short campaign. But even still, you got a lot for your money, considering that the multiplayer mode is actually a lot of fun, and I had a little fun dabbling into that a little bit. So here's where it gets into the actual revenue, and the numbers will probably blow your mind. It says the company's half-yearly report reveals an enormous rise in revenue from licensing in 2023 and 2024 financial year, from 12.1 million to 30.1 million, with the increase being mainly from Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Even with the core business, miniatures, rulebooks, etc., continuing to boom, that makes licensing over 10% of the money that the company earned in that period, largely off of the back of one big success. The report also suggests that the resulting excitement has led to more people coming into our Warhammer stores. I feel like that's inevitable. I feel like if you play Space Marine 2 and you're not a tabletop person, I feel like there's only a matter of time before some of the players, at the bare minimum, will start to dabble into the tabletop world or at least explore a little bit more outside of the video game itself, right? And unfortunately, they are doing certain things that are pissing people off with the lore. You guys already know about the female Adeptus Custodes that went completely viral that people were losing their mind over. But aside from that, Games Workshop is in a really good place right now, especially because of Space Marine 2. If it wasn't for Space Marine 2, the majority of that rise in money would not have happened. And it goes to show that the woke nonsense, sure, may not be killing Games Workshop, sure, may not be selling in mass, but at the end of the day, giving gamers what they wanted and giving them something that they actually were asking for, like Space Marine 2, and delivering on it, will provide you with all the money in the world to do exactly what you want to do. If only companies would continue to adopt this notion, we probably wouldn't be having all of the mass layoffs that we've been experiencing over the last couple of years now in the gaming industry, where we've lost, what is it now, over 15 to 20,000 developers in 1 year? It's absolutely insane. So then it says, of course, you get a boost like that, and you're going to want more. Says, we recognize that successes like these for Warhammer are not given in the world of video games. The report concludes, but adds that clearly we are looking for the next one. Elsewhere, it says, we own what we believe is some of the most underexploited intellectual property globally and lays out a plan to expand Warhammer's reach going forward, with film and TV via its deal with Amazon and a continued focus on video games. We intend to ensure Warhammer's place as one of the top fantasy IPs globally, it says, brimming with confidence. So one thing I will say is a lot is going to be riding on that Amazon TV show with Henry Cavill. If Henry Cavill delivers a banger of a TV show, that is going to exponentially rise Warhammer on a global level. It really is. There's no doubt about it. Henry Cavill is a star, obviously, and if he can produce a TV show that will go the length and really give people what they want, because it's going to start with the fans. If you respect the fans, give them what they want, and showcase a TV show that's going to respect everything that they were expecting when it comes to Warhammer, I guarantee you word of mouth will spread, and before you know it, you're going to have a lot of normies that weren't involved in Warhammer that are like, oh, what's this? And once they discover it, that's a rabbit hole that's going to lead to a lot of success. So I'm glad to see that Warhammer, Space Marine 2, and Saber Interactive got all the success they deserve. It's unfortunate that a woke-ass company like Games Workshop is getting some of the money for that, but it is their IP at the end of the day, and at least they were smart enough to let Saber do what they wanted to do with it, which led to the massive success that they have right now. So hopefully they continue to let Saber do what they want with it and not try to restrict them in any way whatsoever. And also regarding Henry Cavill, do the same exact thing. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.